Your phone knows exactly where you are right now. Not just a city, not just a street. It knows which side of the sidewalk you're standing on. But here's the thing. Your phone never asked anyone. No tower, no satellite called it back. It just knew. How is that even possible? And more importantly, what's actually happening behind the scenes every single time you open Google Maps and that little blue dot appears? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand something that most people use every single day but never actually think about. And trust me, once you know how it works, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. Let's start with the basics. GPS stands for Global Positioning System. It was originally built by the United States military in the 1970s. Not for your morning commute, not for food delivery apps, but for tracking missiles, submarines, and soldiers in the field. The government spent billions of dollars building it. Then, in the 1980s, after a Korean passenger airplane was shot down because it accidentally flew into Soviet airspace, all because of a navigation error, President Ronald Reagan made a decision. He announced that once the GPS system was complete, it would be made available to the public for free, forever. That one decision quietly changed the world. So what exactly is GPS made of? It's three things working together: satellites in space, ground control stations on Earth, and a receiver, which is the device in your hand. That's it. 3 parts. But the way they work together is where it gets fascinating. Right now, as you watch this, there are at least 24 GPS satellites orbiting the Earth. Some sources count up to 31 operational satellites at any given time. These satellites sit about 20,000 kilometers above the surface, which is roughly halfway between Earth and the Moon. They travel at about 14,000 kilometers per hour and complete 2 full orbits around the Earth every single day. Here's the first big question. Why do we need so many satellites? Why not just 1 or 2? Think about it this way. If you're standing in a field and you want to know exactly where you are, 1 landmark isn't enough. If I tell you you're 500 meters from the old oak tree, that doesn't help much. You could be anywhere in a giant circle around that tree. But if I tell you you're 500 meters from the oak tree, 300 meters from the river, and 700 meters from the barn, now we can figure out exactly where you are. That point where all 3 distances overlap, that's you. GPS works the same way. Each satellite is essentially a landmark in space, constantly broadcasting its location and the exact time the signal was sent. Your phone picks up that signal and calculates how long it took to arrive. Since the signal travels at the speed of light, the time difference tells your phone exactly how far away that satellite is. Now, here's where people get confused. If 3 landmarks give you a location, why does your GPS receiver need signals from at least 4 satellites? Great question. In space, location isn't just about left, right, forward, and backward. There's also up and down, your altitude. With only 3 satellites, you'd know your position on a flat plane, but you wouldn't know if you were at sea level or on top of a mountain. The 4th satellite solves that. It pins down your altitude and removes any remaining ambiguity. But there's another reason for the 4th satellite, and this one is even more interesting. Your phone's internal clock is not perfect. It's not even close to the precision of the atomic clocks inside the satellites. GPS satellites carry some of the most accurate clocks ever built by humans. Clocks so precise they only lose 1 second every 300 million years. Your phone's clock? Not quite that impressive, so the small timing errors in your phone can throw off distance calculations dramatically. Even a millisecond of error translates to hundreds of kilometers of positional inaccuracy. The 4th satellite allows the system to correct for the clock error automatically. Your phone essentially solves a math problem using the 4 satellite signals to figure out both where it is and how wrong its own clock is. Let's slow down for a second and think about how incredible this really is. Right now, your phone is listening to signals coming from outer space, calculating the travel time of those signals down to fractions of a second, doing complex math to figure out exactly where on a spinning planet you're standing, and displaying that information on a map in real time. All of that happens silently, automatically in the background, without you pressing a single button. And here's something most people don't realize. Your phone is not sending any signal back to the satellites. GPS is completely one way. The satellites broadcast, your phone just listens. This means the satellites have no idea you exist. Billions of people can use GPS at the exact same time without slowing anything down, because the system doesn't need to talk back to anyone. It's more like a radio station than a phone call. So why does GPS sometimes fail? Why does that little blue dot jump around when you're in a city or lose signal completely when you go indoors? The problem is line of sight. GPS signals are incredibly weak by the time they travel 20,000 kilometers to reach you. They can pass through clouds and rain just fine, but solid objects are a different story. Walls, ceilings, and dense buildings block or reflect the signal. In cities with tall skyscrapers, signals bounce off buildings before reaching your phone, a phenomenon called multipath error. Your phone receives a signal, but it traveled a longer distance than it should have, so the distance calculation comes out wrong. That's why city GPS can sometimes feel like your location is jumping around. This is also why your phone often uses additional tools alongside GPS, Wi-Fi signals, cell towers, and even Bluetooth beacons to fill in the gaps when satellite signals are weak. Modern phones are constantly triangulating using every available signal source, cross-referencing everything to give you the most accurate location possible. There's one more layer to this that almost nobody talks about. Einstein's theories of relativity, yes, the physics of space and time, actually affect GPS accuracy. Here's why. The satellites are moving very fast, and according to Einstein's special theory of relativity, time moves slightly slower for fast-moving objects. At the same time, the satellites are far from Earth where gravity is weaker, and according to general relativity, time actually moves faster when gravity is weaker. These two effects partially cancel out, but not completely. Without correcting for both of them, GPS positioning would drift by about 10 kilometers every single day. So the satellites are pre-programmed with adjustments based on Einstein's equations. Every time you drop a pin on a map, you're quietly benefiting from 20th century physics. Think about what that means. A technology designed for military warfare became the backbone of how we navigate cities, track packages, find restaurants, and meet up with friends. It runs 24 hours a day, free for anyone on the planet, powered by satellites you'll never see, corrected by physics most people never studied, precise enough to tell you which lane of the highway you're in. The next time your phone tells you to turn right in 200 meters, take a second to appreciate what's really happening. Dozens of satellites thousands of kilometers above you are firing signals at the speed of light. Your phone is solving equations in milliseconds. Einstein's math is quietly keeping everything accurate, and all of it happens so seamlessly that we never give it a second thought. That's GPS, and now you actually know how it works. You